walking around, so wasn't in the middle because I was here. I wasn't obviously focused on who was in the cafeteria at that point in time.
Well, there was that point because, you know, we were talking about the powering up thing. You got up and walked down.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I had to talk solo, you know, for like 7 minutes.
And they also used those clips of us as well, and we somehow managed to get back into our chairs at the same time.
I had to put on an Aussie accent.
Yeah, no, you're pretty good at it though. You know, it's the colonial thing.
I've been working on it.
Being an Englishman and stuff like that. We all came from you guys. All right, the Aurora going to be the first one banned away, and Yunara, they're going to be the follower. This does feel like some setup towards the Rumble, as we have been seeing, but I'm just hoping that this is not going to be a normal draft. This is going to be some DK weirdness. Maybe they've realized that all they have to do is go back to the LCK Cup.
Just cook.
You know, and that is what they did. They embraced Fearless. And since then, the fear has crept back.
They've been a little afraid, you know. The fear is mounted, and we haven't seen the same freedom to just go a little bit crazy.
Yep.
No jungle ban, I guess the Poppy. But other than that, you know, Wukong's still open and available, Pantheon's still open and available, Vara's still open and available. A lot of these pretty high-value picks still on the cards. So we'll see what DRX up to take away here.
I think the Pantheon is definitely the biggest worry in my mind.
The thing is, if you ban the Pantheon, they just take the Wukong.
Yeah.
So maybe they ban the Gwen here, and then Dplus, you either take the Rumble or you take the Pantheon. If you take the Pantheon, they go like Rumble Wukong, you know, which the Pantheon's really strong, don't get me wrong, but you can get like the best top lane choice, and you can get a good jungle choice.
I'm still expecting Pantheon. I think that champion is kind of ridiculous.
I think so too. It's what we'd typically expect.
There isn't a Talia this time, which we did see find a lot of value.
Yeah.
But I still think, oh, never mind.
Okay, they go the Wukong instead, so valuing that higher.
That is kind of crazy, because now you've got Pantheon Rumble that DRX can play.
Yep. Can just pick that up.
Oh, wait. This is the Rise group. I forgot. We're in the realm of culture.
Oh, the Wukong Annie?
Rakan.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, it's going to be denied?
Deny the Annie from the Wukong, the winning combo.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I guess you don't have to...
like, it's like we thought 5-head was like, this is like 11-head.
I mean, you don't have to take the Pantheon right now is the thing. Unless you... Oh, what Beryl takes Pantheon support as a denial?
Yeah, don't let that... Oh, never mind. All right, so the Rumble is going to be locked away.
This is on theme for burning the opponents. But yeah, a lot of damage, a lot of setup. If you pair this with the Pantheon, you'll be in a great spot. Now for Dplus, what are you specifically going to take into the Annie is the question. And what are your top lane options into the Rumble?
Yeah,
you saw the Ornn earlier, which didn't inspire huge amounts of joy.
Oh god, well, we are going to potentially see it again.
Hopefully a better performance than Kingen had. Obviously, it gets to a point where you just build Kaenic Rukia and you don't take damage, but the early levels, a little bit tough, especially with the buffs that Rumble has had.
And sometimes you just never get to a point of relevance, unfortunately, as there is the Orianna Wukong to come through here.
We literally just saw, we saw this earlier today.
Yeah, this is actually just the same. And the Pantheon is obviously going to be picked up here, because it is just the most ridiculous jungler on the patch at this point in time. Wukong not too far behind, as we know. So that's why DK were happy to trade it.
I think what's elevated them more is that a bunch of the other AD junglers got nerfed in this patch. And Pantheon did get that jungle nerf last patch, I think it was. But it wasn't that significant. But like these two didn't get touched on this patch. Everything else got brought down and they're kind of elevated as a result. So
wait, so we need Sivir Alistair, don't we? And then we actually just get to redo Wusa.
Yeah, Rakan gonna get taken away. I'm not sure they'll let them get the Alistair in this situation.
Perhaps not, but maybe everyone just needs a little bit of Wusa. So far we've got ARP, which is pretty cool, out of DRX.
Yeah.
To go with the acronyms, I know that's kind of a theme for today. We're allowed to have some themes for each of our days. Acronyms is going to be the theme of today. If you don't like it, sorry. Nico is going to be the final ban here, as the Rakan was also taken away, as you mentioned before. That Alistair you were talking about, still up and available, and Ill can obviously snap it up on R4, or DK can ban it away if they would like to not see it.
I mean, it puts in a really good spot, right? A lot of the engaged support's been taken away. I feel like if you go Rel as Dplus into the Alistar. The Alistar feels really good. You can't really take the Nico. I mean, the Nico's gone, obviously, to punish it, so they will just ban the Alistar.
Okay.
In terms of supports, I think you could just take AD carry and leave it till counter pick if there's an AD carry you really want prio on. But they're just going to take the Rel in this situation.
Don't know whether I'm like hugely inspired by the Rel. As far as that pickup, I don't think Andal is either. Having a look at his facial expression at the moment, it's putting him to sleep just a little bit here. But it is currently what Teddy is going to be locking in. So there it goes. What will the answer be from DK?
Do they go like Jhin Bard?
Jinx Janna for the Wooj. That's what I want. I want some Wooj.
Civic Karma is also sort of the stuff that Barrel's been playing a lot of Karma.
Yeah, true.
They could just take, you know, there's like...
Oh?
They are looking at the... either the Jhin or the Corki.
Well, will be the Corki locked in.
And then support. You could go Poppy, actually. Poppy would be decent here. For like into the Rel. I think Poppy is fine. I think Bard is fine. Could also go, I guess, Nautilus is the other option.
Yeah, it depends whether they feel like they need more engage. With the Ornn there, I don't necessarily feel like
Ornn,
you do.
Wukong, I think you could. They opt to go for the Leona, though.
Wookle.
Wookle.
Wookle ain't bad. I kind of like it. Sounds cute. And Beryl has a skin for this champion that he never uses. So that's kind of funny as well. So they are going to lock away the Leona. And what is Teddy playing today? That's a Kai'Sa angle. Yeah, I was thinking that it should just be a Kai'Sa angle. Teddy is another one of our players with a Kai'Sa license. I think that, you know, Viper and Ruler obviously in the Legend group are our Kai'Sa players. Diablo down here in Rise certainly has his license, but Teddy as well. He was, especially last year, was looking absolutely fantastic on this champion. So I kind of like what DRX have put together. There is a lot of firepower in this comp.
Literally. Yeah, a lot of power. You know, the mid jungle, the Annie, Pantheon, really strong. A lot of setup onto the Orianna, who you can look to punish. The Rumble's going to have a great time early on. Kai'Sa, Rel, just great power in terms of the team fights. If you get on top of that Orianna and just explode Showmaker or aiming, like you're in a great spot. If you do start to fall behind, though, that can be a bit of concern. Because obviously the Annie can sometimes feel underwhelming when she's behind. The Orianna Corki get it quite well. And also the ornaments can be handed out, so...
And DK's ability to turn is kind of absurd.
Yeah.
With the fact that almost everyone has opportunities to do so, and in the meantime, aiming can self-peel pretty effectively with things like the Valkyrie. So
I think when you have...
Oh no, SpongeBob eating a teeny ping thingy! Oh my god, it's so good.
It's dramatic.
The fan signs have just gotten to like a level that I can't even really comprehend. And it just looks so sad, and SpongeBob looks so unhinged. Oh man, it was so good.
That. It's not okay.
Oh, so incredibly good. All right, well, I'm now in an incredibly good mood.
You're already good?
Getting ready for game number 1 for some great League of Legends. Let's do it. All right, we do have an update. Obviously, there were a couple of extra champions locked in, and while it started with ARP, which sounded like it had potential, we ended up with Arpruk, which just doesn't really make me feel too happy in comparison to Wookle. Which is just great, man. I want that to have a meaning.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like a baby Wookiee.
Yeah, a little Wookle.
Yeah.
Oh, it's adorable.
You know, if you had like Baby Yoda, but you had like a Wookiee version, it'd be a
Honestly, you should probably let Disney know that's the next revival of Star Wars that they should go for. Andor Season 2, absolutely incredible. The only way to carry that forward is with some Wookle. Yeah. Actually, no. Just do Season 3 of Andor or something like that. It's actually impossible because that's just Rogue One, isn't it? So never mind. You can't do Season 3 of Andor. Just like try and figure something else out that's also just as cool. That's all we need.
And has a Wookle.
And a Wookle. Wookle needs to be involved. And we're fine. We didn't need to be workshopping this though because we got some video games ahead of us as Andal and Teddy going to take position against Aiming and Beryl right here. Corky and Leona is actually a fair bit of power. As there's a flash forward from Beryl. No flash and a Zenith Blade to come on through, but he lands back-to-back Shields of Daybreak onto Teddy.
Honestly, kind of respect it. I was going to say unlock the Hex Flash. He ain't even running Hex Flash.
Nope.
That's just, he's just going raw, you know?
He's going to take a turret shot. And look, if there's anything that you should take away from this, is just admiration for the ludicrous amount of confidence here from Beryl. I don't think it was a good idea.
No.
He's level 2, doesn't have Eclipse.
Yeah, the thing is, the initial decision, I was like, okay, unlocks Hex Flash, he burns Cleanse. It's kind of hard to be proactive when you don't have Cleanse against the Kai'Sa. But didn't have Hex Flash, then took the tower hit. But they got prio, they forced up. Nice W though from Teddy to stop the recall.
Yep. Will mean that Aiming and Beryl are going to be, okay, never mind. Not going to be coordinated as Andal doesn't even see that Beryl was going home. Very, very close.
Beryl will heal up and comes back with a refillable potion and a control ward.
My goodness!
That value, that tempo reset.
Just insane.
Not to be mistaken for tempo vibes.
Yeah, no. There are, like, the Rise group, this is where the tempo vibes are much harder to decipher.
Yeah.
We don't quite know where they are. It is a game-by-game basis that we will discover where these tempo vibes are at. Right now, it is feeling like everything is relatively neutral, but I always get worried when there is a Pantheon on the Rift, as Andal is just testing the aim, and it's not going well. As Beryl is just going to stun him up. Teddy taking a fair bit of damage back as Aiming with that Gatling gun getting to work. But I hope that calibrated for Andal there, and so the next time the Shattering Strike combo comes in, it's going to work out a bit better, as Sponge is going to be able to land here. As Beryl going to try and see what he can do here as he turns it onto Teddy. Beryl is likely still going to be dead as Sponge misses! And the Shield of Daybreak actually stuns him up. Still, he's going to die, but honestly, I'm still even more impressed by Beryl.
It was a little goofy. That looked like certain death for Beryl. Flashless in that situation. The jungler's there. It's a point-and-click stun. Somehow Teddy loses his flash in the mad panic that came after. And actually, it's not super meaningful. It is obviously a first kill, right? It's a good amount of gold for Sponge. But because Aiming's not the one who dies, and no extra summoners are burnt, I believe, for Dplus, and Aiming is still there to pick up farm.
Having the eye for that turn is actually just kind of insane.
Yeah.
Because, like, Beryl could have just flashed onto the turret and they would have been fine, actually.
Yeah, so in terms of the actual lane dynamics, if you look, Aiming's a bit ahead in terms of farm. Obviously, Teddy's going to be able to pick up a bit up now, but he's going to be behind on tempo when Aiming swaps top. Teddy's down in flash. So for the 2v2, Dplus actually came out ahead on the back of that play. It's only Sponge who really benefited on the side of DRX, so
kind of ridiculous. And I actually told a lie. Beryl couldn't have flashed. He didn't have it up and available, so it was only really a Zenith Blade Hail Mary. So it's a little bit less.
How could you have forgotten that he flashed a level 1, obviously?
I know, I should have remembered. The culture is overwhelming. Maybe you're right. Maybe there is such thing as too much culture.
It can be a thing.
I just don't want to believe it. As Aiming and Beryl are going to go for the first part of this lane swap.
We're just building our culture tolerance, you know?
Yeah, and it's really important because there's going to be even more culture as we have another week, as Beryl just barely going to miss latching on to the robot. And Sponge will be starting off the Drake. So that should be claimed here by DRX. They have a lot of vision here around this area. Still haven't cleared out the control ward that's in the pit. But Lucid not going to be in position to try and stop that one as a bear comes down. Showmaker going to have to deal with this, and Andal, who does find that Shattering Strike. Still, Showmaker has not pressed Flash, will finally do so, as Yehu is going to pick up a turret shot as well. Sponge taking his sweet time on this dragon, but will not be contested, so we'll be able to take that one down as well. So the tempo vibes do move in favor of DRX.
Yeah, looking pretty positive so far. I will say swapping the Rumble away, and now she just kind of gets to farm against the Kai'Sa. He's feeling pretty good about that on the side of Dplus. But the Rumble does still just get to play the Equalize the Wave.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Or he's at least pretty good at it. As Xiu, here down towards the bottom side, is actually able to park himself in this lane and feel quite okay, as you mentioned. That is certainly helping out. The more even an Ornn is, the more scary it is for his opposition. But we haven't really seen the Ornn dominance that he can actually have, right? When you do have tempo, when you do actually get ahead on the Ornn, start getting those levels a little bit faster and can deliver those ornaments to your carries, can be really worrisome. But we haven't actually really seen it. Ornns have kind of just fallen behind and stayed behind in a lot of our games.
Yeah, I mean, this game, Chu doing pretty okay. Rich really hasn't had that much momentum so far. And the thing is, if you don't put him down early, once he gets the Kanik Rukin, it's just very hard to do damage to him, especially as you have these. So often we have like the AP.
Oh, there's a flash in. Is Showmaker just holding on to the ult for now?
Okay.
And doesn't have flash, is able to walk it off, but still, it's a lot of pressure. And Pantheon, I mean, it's like point and click stun, point and click stun. You're just not going to have a good time.
The lack of tippers meant they weren't able to get more.
There was also, look at the boots. The Merc Treads feel so bad for Orianna ever doing damage, but feels real good into this combo.
Yep. Able to survive that one, so Showmaker walks away, and we'll just be able to make it back. Doesn't mean they lose a bit of pressure for the time being. Oh, no.
Oh, pack it up. The tempo vibes have immediately switched back to DK. Off the back of that one is Beryl walking towards Andal here. Looking to get a stun off. Going to be able to do so, but Andal will vacate the area. Showmaker moving his way over as Lucid is going to take control.
And I think it's just not a fight you're super interested in, considering the Wukong Ori combo's up and available. You're kind of getting zoned off, your bot lane is kind of getting pushed in, so I think they just back away from the grubs, and it feels pretty bad, but I don't think you have another choice. A fight there could have been devastating for DRX.
Certainly could have. And we're going to come on over and at least get some vision down, but the control ward in this tri-brush means the Beryl will retain control. Bit of an on-the-nose use of control there. We'll blame the script for now. As Aiming and Beryl once again in position, and Teddy and Andal, a lot of respect coming on through here, as Teddy just going to be farming with the Void Seeker. Bodes well for the future here for DK, because a lot of it is going to be hinging on Aiming getting as much value out of this 2-item spike from the Corki that he can find. And he's on track. Trinity Force going to be coming in pretty quickly, and he's already getting to work stacking up his tier as Rich will just shoot a harpoon at Beryl, and Beryl is probably not too phased. I can't get a read.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
I think things going not too fast in the early game, I think Dplus pretty fine with that overall. Especially this Pantheon Annie. I know it's not the Pantheon Talia, but think about the impact we saw in the previous series with Nongshim and how they're really taking over the map. That hasn't really happened. So I think Dplus fine with how things have gone so far. But there's two things to take into account. One, the team fights are going to be explosive, and two, it's Rise Group.
Yeah.
So we know what's going to happen. Well, it's going to be a little wacky.
What we know is going to happen is not what we expect is going to happen. That's what we know is going to happen. And so basically we just really don't know what's going to happen. Right? Because it's
exactly. So we know that we don't know what we know is going to happen.
So we know whatever it is going to happen is something that we don't know is going to happen.
That's what we know we don't know. Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Yeah. I'm glad you cleared that up, because now it makes so much sense. As Showmaker just trying to stand back, as Sponge is back here once again. And I don't think Showmaker has vision, but he has Spidey senses are certainly tingling.
It's a short window before that flashes up. Sponge is looking.
Oh dear, just let that one go. Yeah, he does. Okay, there we go. So Sponge not going to be finding an angle this time around. And Showmaker will once again survive. His flash is so close to coming back off cooldown.
Yeah.
Still, DRX did manage to pick up that first blood on that bottom side of the map when they killed Beryl. But as you mentioned before, nothing really came of that one. It was a lot more about the movements afterwards and the fact that Showmaker had to go back a couple of times in a row.
And it's just been a lot more chill than our first series. I felt like, especially how it started, I thought we were going to get explosions, panic, craziness.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Michael Bay, but it hasn't really been that. It's been a bit more like, I don't know, who does really, maybe Peter Jackson. There's a fair bit of action in a lot of those as well.
Yeah.
I was thinking more about like King Kong, which was like the least action King Kong ever. But anyway, we've got a flash forward here as Aiming gonna have to try and get out of there. Gets into the brush as the rest of his team's coming along. The Grand Starfall not really doing too much here as DK just wanting to get their Corki out. But Beryl might actually be paying for his sins. A lot of damage is coming through as Beryl finally going to be throwing out the flash, but the Cyclone comes in to double knockups, and Beryl goes forward to die once again. Finally, they do get the trade, but Rich is teleported in. Shiu going to come down as well. But in the end, it's actually a big trade up for DRX.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Dplus had so much AoE damage when they turned it around, but the problem was so much of it was split across multiple targets. They didn't manage to finish off their targets, spread the damage between Sponge and Andal, and that single target burst came in to finish off both Beryl and Lucid. And they were, what is the dragon? You've seen the replay.
It's going to be an Ocean Soul as well this game, but it's double dragon for DRX.
Good start, but yeah, so they go for the play on aiming. He has to burn a lot to get out of that situation. And then they're kind of on the back foot because aiming's so low, so even though those tools are down, they're kiting away, Beryl's taking a lot of damage. And then they go for this turn, but again, the damage isn't onto Teddy, it's AoE across the targets. They disengage, they kill Beryl, and then Lucid tries to commit for the kill, and he gets it, but Sponge manages to turn it around. And he has Sundered Sky at this point.
Yeah, that was the thing, because he went down to like 50 health, but then got a third of his health bar back because Sundered Sky is busted.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like Wukong's really strong, and he does buy Sundered Sky, but he gets a second.
Yeah.
Whereas Pantheon, he buys Sundered Sky first. Big difference maker.
You could theoretically buy it first as Wukong, but then you'd feel a whole bunch worse. So it's probably not going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Beryl is going to be going back. I'm glad that Jonas Strong gives it a little bit of a zoom in, because we do need to draw attention to the fact that he is not indeed using his skin that he does have for winning Worlds in 2020.
Someone needs to remind him. Maybe he's forgotten.
Yeah, and he changed up his skin as well, because he used to use the, like, what was the red and gray one that came out a really long time ago? It was like the release skin.
Oh,
the Iron something?
Iron Solari one?
No.
Iron...
Something else. Maybe it's not Iron. Maybe that is just Iron Solari. He does have an on-theme item, which is pretty cool.
The Locket of the Iron Solari.
Yeah, there we go. Feeling pretty Leona vibe there. He already had the shield, though, so does he even really need to buy the item? Because, like, you can see it. The item was already there from the beginning.
You know, maybe you should get item synergies, right?
Yeah.
Build an item that syncs with your champion.
That'd be really cool. Maybe you could actually, your champion could have all the items as well, like dangling off them in some way or another.
Well, with Leona, you just have to shield.
It would be hard, though, wouldn't it? When, like, an AD carry has, like, 11 swords, they just have, like, swords coming out of their ears and stuff like that, and then they'd be shooting a gun half the time.
Yeah, also when you have components and you just have, like, 6 long swords because you're playing Talon.
Yeah.
And then you flip over a wall, but you drop all your long swords.
It would look a little janky.
They fall out your
maybe
pocket,
that would actually make it better. It might make it better.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's something we're missing a little bit in modern League of Legends.
Yeah.
The jank.
Yeah, where's the wackiness?
Yeah.
I think bring more spaghetti back. That's what we need. Maybe this is just like the Rise vibes getting to us. That's what we really want. Just doesn't feel as cultured as. Okay, in goes Lucid, looking for a little bit of a trade towards Sponge, as out goes Andal. Solar Flare, you're gonna only get the slow, as Andal will be staying alive for now. Oh, gets the redemption heal. That's actually what saves him in that particular play. Is, man, that burst damage at the end, pretty huge. Still DK, only able to get 1 kill so far this game.
Scary times, and if that stun was connected from the Solar Flare, I think certainly would have been Andal dead, but the Ghost allows him to sidestep, get out. But it does give the pressure over to Dplus. They are looking towards this Herald.
Yep.
Andal's coming back on the map, and it looks like DRX wanting to contest this one.
All right, well, Showmaker, possible turn angle here for DRX. Remember, Sponge and Yehu are pretty scary. Still, the Rift Herald is going to go down. Beryl in amongst it once again as Sponge taking a lot of damage. Teddy, oh man, you could feel the killer instinct.
Yeah, that was
armed and ready.
That was a Leona with a Celestial opposition. And now I've noticed, you know how we have like 80 carries with multiple swords? This Leona does just have 2 shields.
Yeah, it is a bit of a...
You know, we have dual wielding, this is dual shielding.
Dual shielding sounds pretty legit, though. I feel like that's something that, like, Cassante would be really good at.
Yeah.
Just doesn't use the Natofos anymore, just uses a bunch of shields.
No, Cassante's been
actually
overpowered for long enough. We don't need to make him.
You know what it sounds like? It actually sounds like Link from Breath of the Wild. Because you actually need to have so many shields.
Yeah.
Because if you're ever doing, like, the shield surfing thing, those things just break, like, instantly. You need to have another one. in case he gets shot with an arrow. So maybe it's sort of like that angle. So like, you can always have one of them out, but you can actually have some in your inventory that doesn't make any physical sense.
An extra shield.
Yeah, because there is precedent in other video games for that to be okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure item durability would work
And
so
in Mary
well.
Poppins, because Mary Poppins is a documentary, right? That's real life. And like she's got the bag that's like super duper mega bit like full of stuff. And like,
As someone who lived in the UK for a long time, I can say yes.
yeah. Yeah,
100%.
Did you know Julie Andrews as well? Like, were you mates?
Yeah, good friends.
Oh, that's really cool. Dick Van Dyke as well, because I love that guy.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, man, I really want to come and hang out with you and your family. As DK, there was almost a scuffle there, but there wasn't actually in the end. As Grand Starfall to come down, flash out from Showmaker, the flash in from Sponge, and from Yahoo as well. And Showmaker will be stabbed to death in the end. But bit of an overextension perhaps, as teleports are now coming on through. Shiu trying to set up for this one, but now he's 2 versus 1. The rest of DK continuing the fight, but the equalizer comes down. The Ram comes on in, and Shiu trying to stop Yahoo from doing much more. But the Acathian rains down, and Teddy's able to take down the Monkey, now aiming, having to deal with this. He does do a fair bit of damage, and Beryl is going to be once again falling. Aiming surviving is a big deal, but this is also sole point for DRX.
Good cleanup there from DRX. You know, the target selection's great. They take out Showmaker on the bot side, and then Teddy finding an angle to punish, to take out Lucid. And it just felt like Dplus kind of scattered, kind of separated. Shiwu TP'd in alone. We'll see the replay. So the ult comes down, and instantly the call is like, hey, we need to save our mid laner, but it's too late. Yahoo flashes in. Showmaker's dead. Unfortunately, it's the Ornn team being into this, so they can't really kill Shiwu quick enough. But we see Lucid getting focused down here initially, so Lucid ends up pretty low because of the equalizer and the rel damage. And then Teddy sees a window, jumps in, takes him out, flashes away. Could have actually even have gone in more aggressively, but doesn't want to give Aiming a chance. And so Aiming just has to disengage, and they clean up the kill on a barrel.
Yeah, it's really nicely done. You did see on the kite back that Aiming was doing a fair bit of damage, but just not quite able to leverage it in this particular game. Still, it is not a massive lead. 1.3k is nothing to write home about, but that soul point going to be a big deal. It is just an Ocean Soul.
Yeah.
So DK fans can be a little bit pleased. Like if it was a Hextech Soul, for example, this is not DNF, this is DRX. So they will probably be able to make that one work.
It's not the biggest soul. Also, I feel like with Ocean Soul, the tankier your team is, the better it feels. You know, I think if it's on the other side, if you have like an Ornn with an Ocean Soul, it can feel a lot harder to cut through. But like DRX's comp is fairly squishy and bursty, so it's like you win or lose the fight so quickly. You're not getting that much ocean value in fights, and there's not that much poke, really. Well, there's a bit from Corki, and that's kind of all you're sustaining through. It's not that it's useless, just not the highest value. But DRX threatening that, definitely going to be a point of strength for them.
Certainly is. Showmaker is now just going to be guiding Shelly towards this inner turret. I don't know whether she's successfully going to pick up a secondary charge or anything like that. Actually, never mind. She is. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, it wasn't actually able to walk up and stop that.
Yeah, I would have thought that wouldn't be able to go through, but yeah, a lot more value than I think Dplus bargained for on that one.
Yeah, it did feel like a little bit of a last-minute Herald put down as well, so definitely very valuable. Shiu does hit item number 2, Hollow Radiance, to come in. Has also upgraded his Rookern currently.
Unending Despair, actually. Hollow Radiance is the...
oh, sorry. I
always
get those ones mixed up.
Yeah.
Just
they
obviously
have
don't
a similar...
play enough tank.
Yeah, they have a similar vibe, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like...
Hollow... Why did I just call them both Hollow Despair?
Yeah, no, that'd be a good fix.
Yeah, just figure it out that way. Tanking item of various outcome. Hollow Despair. Perfect. All right. Well, Beryl and Lucid clearing out some vision here.
Hollow Despair doesn't just seem like you're describing...
It feels very sad, doesn't
how
it?
KT felt after that loss.
Yes. Just a bit of Hollow Despair. Kind of how DK are going to feel if they lose this series as well. Or maybe chronically how he's going to feel if they lose this series. Maybe DK don't care at all. As Showmaker is able to dissonance his way out of dodge. The Artican going to be the next thing on the menu as DK thinking that maybe they'll just take an outer turret in mid, and that is going to happen here.
Yeah, good pickup. Teddy has to respect them and back away. DRX lent heavily down towards the bot side and gave up a lot of pressure mid, and now Dplus using that to move in.
Banana
put up
brush
access
control.
here. Yeah, banana brush control. So DRX have to try and make their way back in. They are looking for Lucid, but Wukong not the easiest target to punish.
Well, Beryl's going to get crashed into here by Andal, but he's not really synced up with his team. Lucid will go down relatively low. I don't think they need to be too worried about it. Sponge taking a little bit of damage here from the Orianna over the wall.
There's no major motivation to fight. It feels like a lot of poking and prodding for the vision, and the vision is super important because Dragon's up in a minute, Adakan's up now, but there's no like, when the Dragon spawns, that's going to be the more pressing time to actually start the fight. Right now, it just feels like they're kind of jostling for position.
Yep. Well, Shiu continuing to clear things out in this mid lane. And he will be able to do so. Bottom side of the map teleport in from Beryl. And he'll have his flash back up and available pretty quickly. Yeah, just trying to hold on to this bottom outer turret. But Beryl just daring him to press bear, wasn't he? That's exactly what happened. As in goes Lucid, finds a knock up onto Teddy, another Cyclone, and down he goes! Just a little bit of brittle, and down goes Teddy. Shockwave means the end of Yahoo as well, as DK spring to life here at 23 minutes.
And DRX try and move to defend the bot lane and just end up completely caught out. Dplus used that pressure they had mid, used the control they had in the enemy jungle to find two great picks, and now this Adakan's just a free pickup. And I'm not even sure if DRX can do anything about the Dragon either.
Well, you can see there is at least an equalizer there if Rich wants to risk it, but there's also so many brushes, right, with this Ocean Rift. So it's just very dark and scary to get on in here. There's the knock up on Andal as well as, yeah, they don't want to risk losing too much more. The Adakan is going to be taken, but Andal still has to flash away. And now Showmaker and Shiu are going to be enough to kill Sponge if he sticks around for too long, as the slows will just continue to stack up. So out he goes. And DK now will definitely have control of this Drake and will be able to deny the soul.
Yep, good work there from Showmaker in particular, just cutting down the HP, him and Shiru, zoning them away, not giving any chance for contest or a steal. And the thing is, DRX had some big spikes coming in, you know, 2 items on the Rumble, 2 items on the Pantheon, 2 items on the Kai'Sa and the Annie. They were ready to fight, but they didn't get their window. And here, Teddy taking the dangerous route, just exploded by Lucid.
Yeah, it's a lot of gold going over to the Wukong as well that you're going to be very happy about. As Beryl, yep, he just wanted to collect the bear.
I think this is one of these situations where you have to accept that the tower is already dead. And you hanging around to try and defend it gives up so much more than that low HP tower.
Certainly did, because that meant Adakan into Dragon, into even more tempo around this map as well. And it's the Infinity Force done here for aiming. Also, the Shiu at level 15 has upgraded 3 items thus far. And so the fact that it's a 1.4k gold lead is actually more than that, right? It's closer to 3 or 4 as far as those stats are concerned.
And also the Adakan. That
oh man, yeah.
Well.
And the Adakan only allows these items to come out even faster.
For the extra XP, yeah. I mean, the fact that the Ornn is highest level in the game, I mean, he is tied with some of the level 15s, but has the most XP off them. You're in a great spot. You know, if Shiu keeps handing out these items, you have this Orianna, Corki, who are scaling up to a great position. DRX feels they get like the game's in a delicate spot, and even if they get the Ocean Soul, it's not like an immediate out. It's not one of these souls that just drastically increase your chances of winning. It's nice, but if you get the Ocean Soul and lose the fight, you're probably just cooked anyway.
Speaking of cooked, the Monkey going to be in a little bit of trouble here. As Sponge going to get slowed down, but not stunned by the Solar Flare. Aiming still hunting for some rockets, but doesn't actually find too many. And Lucid eating the honey fruit. It's in his enemy base. They have cleared out this jungle pretty effectively. Baron has spawned a minute ago, but isn't something that they're really looking for right now. Just wanting to get their ducks in a row. All of these waves pushing forward. And DK really just on suffocation mode now. Really feeling like they have moved into a powerful spot. What they can sometimes do in game states like this is overextend. So we'll see whether Shiu is going to be able to safely get himself out of this one. What is going to happen? Well, actually, no, he's probably...
And Baron's up.
Yeah, so they are just going to do Baron.
I mean, Pantheon has ult.
He's level 13. He does have level 2 ult as well. It goes a little further, doesn't it?
They are running out of time quickly.
Well, he's also going to take
don't
the
do Scuttle Crab. You need to be there for Baron.
Nah, better get the crab. He's going to get the Crab, though. As he does ult in, the Baron does go down.
What?
Crab wasn't even secured, so not even going to be able to get the consolation Crab.
That pass is, I mean, you can't just kill the Rumble. You just don't have the damage.
Well, Yehu is going to get missed by a Zenith Blade. Shoutouts to our previous series as now Showmaker gets dove on by Sponge, but that is not really where he wants to be. Showmaker and Aiming are actually cut off by from the rest of the team though, and Teddy is free hitting.
Okay.
They still just can't get in, as Aiming now might be able to help his Ornn make his way out. But that is way more than DRX could have ever hoped for after the Baron falls.
Yeah, they cooked them completely in that choke, so good turnaround there. Bit of an overcommit from Dplus, but it was a strange play. I just don't see how they ever thought they were going to kill the Ornn in the bot lane with just the Pantheon and the Rumble. Give up the Baron essentially for free, but here, it's an overcommit. You lose the Orianna Shockwave, and then here, you dive so deep into this play. Huge amount of value from the Annie with the Tibbers there. The MR Shred comes through with the Rumble as well. And Aiming and Showmaker just are unable really to get access to good targets in the fight. It's a really bad spot to fight around that brush next to the Raptor camp, because the enemy carriers can retreat in multiple directions as you sort of aggress forwards. And a game that started to feel like it was really pulling away from DRX, maybe bouncing back a little bit. It's still in favor of Dplus. Still 2,000 gold lead. They still have Baron on multiple members with those ornaments coming in, but it shows that it's not completely done yet.
Yeah, it's got that teetering feeling, doesn't it?
It's
where it's right now, the dial is pointing towards DK, but there is some wobble to it.
It's feeling pretty Rise Group.
I would say there's a bit of wookle to it.
Yeah, a little bit of wookle.
A little bit of wookle in there as the crash down comes on through, gets a decoy.
You know, they did a lot of damage to that decoy.
Yeah. So Lucid needs to be careful. If it's ever the real one, he will take a little less damage, but maybe not that much less. As building towards GA for Adam number 3 when that comes through, it's going to be very, very scary. Same to be said for Sponge, though. As Lucid once again going to get engaged on, but Beryl very happy to just tank up as much as they want to dish out. DRX now moving over, wanting to get themselves a soul if they can find it. DK really don't want them to do that, but the split pushing Ornn is something they need to respect. Magnustorm collects a couple of them as Aiming is going to be the focus. Benandil going to be going down first. The Ram coming through. Yehu able to actually walk his way out, and Aiming will be taken down. There goes Lucid as well, and this time Showmaker will survive, but Beryl is also going to be dead. Rich picks up that one, and Shiu is just waddling about because he wasn't there.
Andal with a beautiful engage there, managing to find it, and the layering of the damage on top just completely cooks Aiming. You know, Teddy doesn't immediately jump in, doesn't get blown up, the recourse isn't there. And as much as Dplus try to fight their way out of it, it's so hard to reposition after a fight starting in that way.
And that is going to be Ocean Soul going over to DRX. DK still with a slight gold lead, but this is going to mean that DRX can just go for these blades over and over again. Rich's health bar not going to be low for very much longer as the Ram is going to be called out once again. Gets a cheeky little knock up onto Sponge, but now he's low and he's just dead.
Wow.
Shio, I think, overestimating how tanky he was.
Yeah, there's a lot of shred between the double blood ladders, the black cleaver on Sponge, a lot of resistance shred coming through, and he didn't actually have that much armor going into that because he didn't have his Randuin's finished. But here, so Andal finds this great engagement at Aiming. A look immediately, the layering of the Tibbers and the Equalizer on top. Aiming just gets completely melted, so he can't really participate in the fight, and Rich flashes to kill him. Meanwhile, Teddy jumped down to kill Lucid, chases Showmaker out. And I think just that engage from Andal really set everything up, but it was the layering as well. Rich and Yehu following up. And even if Aiming had survived there, obviously Rich finished him off at the end, but even if he had lived, he was kind of just like out the fight, unable to participate other than firing the occasional rocket.
Wasn't going to be able to do too much. And now we are desperate for an Oblivion Orb here on the side of DK, because it will get even more difficult to finish off these targets, because not only that, they've also got a bunch of extra items, right? So a little bit extra durability. Terminus is done here for Teddy as well. So that will really help the longevity of this Kai'Sa in a fight. Sponge also finishes the GA.
You know what's big is that Aiming burned both the summoners in the last fight, and obviously Andal flashed. Yehu still has his flash.
Oh no. And Teddy has both summons as well.
And there's no QSS, there's no Mikhails, so if Yehu sees an angle just to get on Aiming, you can just run at him in Q, and even if he Valks, right, the Q still hits, and then you just timbers on top of his head. So I'm a little concerned for aim. I mean, Showmaker also, no flash, doesn't have a Zhonya's yet, does have that Seraph shield, but I'm not even sure that's going to be enough. So it's very dangerous ground right now for Dplus.
Well, now we've got the Ram coming out again as Rich in trouble. He's going to go golden as Sponge turns up. Lucid is just out of there, though, and Shiu, I think he's burning his flash here as he does get himself out. Still DRX, they turn on a dime. Great Grand Starfall there from Sponge to make sure that Rich was going to be okay. But that Zhonya's cooldown is going to be up so incredibly quickly, and that flash, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I do think of everyone on Dplus, the Ornn flash being down is not the biggest hit, but it's still
what about the cool Ram Slam?
Oh, the Ram Slam? Yeah.
The flash Ram Slam's pretty cool.
He was so looking to do that.
Yeah.
You have GA just picked up there for Teddy.
That's a big deal.
So he is even more of a threat. And I feel like Aiming's been sitting on these items for a while. Doesn't have his IE yet.
I've seen this one before. This time, there is the rest of DK over here. The engage from Andal, not going to be quite as pivotal, but Rich is making his way in. Choke point going to be there with the equalizer. That is so much value. And DK now going to have Lucid getting caught out. He has to flash to get himself over this wall. The Void Seeker missing is such a huge deal. My God, I think that just kept their jungler alive. But DRX still going to have their eyes glued to this Baron. And with Shiu dead, he does have teleport, but that's still 40 seconds before the Ornn is back, and they're just going to start this up.
I think Shiu is just overestimating his tankiness. You got to remember there's double bloodletters, there's Malignance, there's the harpoons from Rich as well. You know, the fact that Annie has the pen she gets from her ult, I believe. She gets pen now.
Yeah.
There's so much actual magic shred that he's not nearly as tanky as he thinks he is. So when he steps up here, especially with no flash, they just immediately turn onto him. You know, they would have loved to get Aiming as well, but they know he has Valkyrie. But this half HP Shiu just gets melted through.
Yep, and he was the one that didn't have flash, right? I think it's actually beautiful the DRX go for this because they knew that he had no way out of the play. And even though Lucid manages to survive, avoids the Void Seeker, like all this sort of stuff, it doesn't matter. The Baron still goes over to DK. And now they're, Baron still goes over to DRX.
That's actually a thing to think about, is the fact that, so Pantheon gets Armor Pen on his ult rank.
Yeah.
Annie gets Magic Pen on her ult rank. Rich, there's Rumble gets Magic Pen when he lands the harpoons. There's so much like free pen on those, and they all have pen applying items. So I think that's part of the thing, is that Shiu just gets shredded. He really doesn't, he isn't as tanky as he thinks he is based on his items.
Well, they're going to dive on towards Sponge. They get his flash. That's something. Trade it for the Shockwave and the Cyclone. I mean, Shiu is, he looks pretty tanky right now, as he is going to head to the Forge to build something up. I mean, that is going to be an upgraded GA, which is kind of crazy. Teddy, he's got his, but yeah, decoy over the wall. Redemption has to be employed here to get Lucid back to at least somewhat healthiness. And it's going to be an Elder Flip, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
That is the most cultural outcome a series can get to.
Full 5 ornaments have been completed for Dplus.
So basically what that means is that gold is even, pretty much, as far as stats are concerned. Although there is a Baron as well, so it's a little bit in favor of DRX. We'll be able to take this inner turret at the same time. Aiming going to have that back stopped. But this is their last opportunity to go for a reset, but they're not going to be able to get any setup. They did manage to get the crab, so there's at least that. But this inner turret is just going to fall. DRX using this Baron so effectively. Still, Infinity Edge done for Aiming. That is kind of a big deal. But can they actually win a fight? That's going to be the question here. Because the Corki pretty far away from this fight right now as Beryl is boosting around, going pretty quick. We'll have that heal back up and available very, very quickly. Let's build spellbook things. All right, in goes Andal, finds 2. Magnus Storm comes down. Beryl getting in amongst it, Aiming, trying to kite his way up, but Teddy gets on top of him with a killer instinct. Yahoo does fall, but remember, Shiu wasn't even there. Sponge now going to get knocked up, but Showmaker just not quite enough DPS in this fight, and DRX, they take 2 and they trade it for the Annie.
The target selection so good from DRX there, and now Rich looking for more.
Yeah, he's just going to be flashing in here as the Redemption comes down. They pick up a bit of a heal, and Shiu is actually able to help out here. The Ram going to get a nice few knockups, but Rich, the walking flamethrower, is so incredibly scary, and DRX should be able to move back, break open this base, and look for an Elder.
Little bit maybe could have gone badly there. I think for DRX, maybe overstepped a little bit, but I think the Ocean Soul actually coming in clutch there. You saw with the damage from Shu and Showmaker, some of the health bars get low, but the healing comes in, they're able to back away, and they will pick up this Elder. DRX playing with conviction here.
Yeah.
And right now, Dplus really on the back foot. You know, we talked about the Ornament Gold being able to equalize some of the differential. There isn't enough ornaments in the world to make up for the Elder buff.
Nope. That is just not going to be it. And we thought there was going to be an Elder flip, but it wasn't actually the case as Andal went for this engage. It felt like aiming was going to be okay, but then the fact that Sponge and Sponge gets to deliver Teddy right on top of him.
I kind of love the late engage because it means Lucid can't do anything, and because the Wukong's not doing anything, there's no counter engage really. So aiming's just kind of like, well, at least they're not on me, but then they are, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have your Wukong doing anything because he's being focused, so it kind of feels like DRX have such this good approach where they don't need everyone on aiming at the same time. And they did that in that previous fight as well when, you know, Andal went on to aiming, the equalizer was there, who was there, but Teddy didn't immediately dive in. I think they've been very measured with how many members they need on targets and not all over committing into a shockwave, which we've seen teams do before.
Well, right now, DK just desperately trying to hold on to their waves as Andal went so far up into the sky. Yahoo gets into that backline, though. Tibbers goes down, and they're fighting against an Elder, and that is never going to work. As Lucid trying to flash his way out, but it does not happen. Still, aiming is able to get one back, but DRX, they are so incredibly deadly right now.
The front line gone down. It's Lucid Showmaker and aiming to try and defend, but it's such hard odds to beat the Ocean Soul in pocket, the Elder in pocket. They got to try and make a miracle defense here.
Yep, Lucid getting poked out by these Void Seekers as well. If two more of those land, I mean, he's just dead. As the Warrior Trickster does come on through, there is another Void Seeker to connect. They are dealing with these waves relatively well, as there is, of course, a Corki and an Orianna. They can actually handle that. But first Nexus turret is going to go down. Rich wrapping around to try and get the pincer move, and it's going to work. He roasts them all as the double comes through, and the Nexus will go down. 39 minutes. These teams doing exactly what they promised. It's a long one, but it's a DRX win.